So let's continue the SOP level bringing forces, so which is point velocity, and then I will also continue talking about the pop source itself, which is use inherited velocity. I haven't mentioned what's that, isn't it? And mix of all and everything. So let's go bring a sphere. It's always good to start with sphere. Okay, and this time, so I'm transferring. Oh, using transform. Yeah. So in this one, I'm gonna bring a ground plane. Okay, so let's bring pop network. All right, let's bring a prop network, and let's just show you. I'll just show you. Okay, I will start with the source level. I mean SOP level velocity. Okay, so if you right click to the attribute, you can see a bunch of attributes. Okay, so which we're gonna cover next, but I don't want to talk about that now. I want to talk about point velocity. So we have something called point velocity in the geometry level or SOP level. So now if I click it, okay, so I have a, so here if I middle mouse click it, it's just P, but here now I have velocity. Okay, so this velocity is what this if you go to the pop source attribute, this is looking for. Okay, so now if I add anything, okay, so now you can see basic curl and from object and conical noise blah blah, but you think about first as you're thinking about this add velocity. So add velocity, you have 0 0 0, so now you keep it 1. Okay, so now if you keep it 1, and I haven't changed anything here. Okay, just a default pop. Now if I press play, then you can see it is going in the y-axis 1. Okay, so if you want to double check that, you go to the spreadsheet geometry, you can see y-axis 1. It is going y-axis 1 every time. All right, so what's happening here is because this attribute is looking for inherent velocity, which is coming from here. Okay, and you can say that multiply it. Okay, so inherent velocity, and if you're not happy with the speed, of course you can, first option is you can change it here, of course, but also you can multiply it from here. So if I keep it 2, then you can see it here 2. Okay, because I am multiplying it. I think I'm multiplying it. So if I keep it 2, then it should be 4. Yeah, it is 4, so it is multiplying it. Okay, so I don't want to mess with that. Okay, so what I know is here I have 2, and I click on this one and I can add. So this one is basically multiplying the entire whatever value I have kept. So it's like if I keep it 2 2 come on 2 2 2, I keep this one 3. Okay, and if I multiply it, then it's going to be 4 4 3 into 2 is 6. So C 4 4 6. Okay, so now if I play it, it goes into the 2 2 3. All right, so that's multiplying. Let's go for add. So what's add is, I'll keep it 0 at the beginning, add. Then if I add here 1, then it's gonna be 1 plus 2 is 3. Okay, so if I keep it 1, it is 3. If I keep it 2, it is 5. Right, so that's the math happening. Okay, and variance, like I said, it is plus or minus. So if I keep it 1, so the calculation will be a little confusing, but anyway, if I keep it 1, then it probably will be the minimum will be 2 minus 1 and maximum will be 2 plus 1, so which is 1 and 3. So you can see here, I click here, then you can see the maximum is 3, minimum is 1. All right, so that is what variance is. And if I keep it here a value, then it will be very complicated values. Not complicated, but yeah, I don't want to calculate it at the moment. So that's what variance is. You know, when you add it, then it's going to add it with this value. Okay, so that's the one thing I want to talk about pop source. All right, so pop source attribute, what is use, what is add, and what is set initial. So set initial is basically it initialize this. Okay, so this, if I keep it 1, it's not taking this value anymore as the initial one. Okay, so if I play it, yeah, see, it is taking it as the velocity. It is avoiding this value. Okay, so that's what set initial. Use inherit is the one. If you want this to carry out, then use inherit and keep it 1. And yes, voila. Okay, so now let's mix it. So we have a velocity coming from the SOP level, which is this one. SOP level, we have point velocity, and we can add some variance. Okay, so it's like 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. So you will have a higher minimum and maximum. It's like 1.5 and 2.5 is the minimum and maximum because it is 2 in the SOP level. All right, and we can add. So now just play. It's going like this. Some have a variance, right? It's not like a straight stuff. It has some variance, and we can make a pop wind and give it a little bit of amplitude. So now it has a noise. I haven't given any wind velocity, right? So it has a noise. It's looking not good. But yeah, but that's the last one I want to talk, which is the mix of all. So I have a SOP level velocity coming, and I gave some variance in the pop source, and I also added a pop wind to everything. Okay, so you can do that, right? So one more thing that I want to show you is let's bring it wind to negative. Okay, and I want to show you a ground. So ground, you can come here in the object. If you go to the object, you can see a lot of object, but in that you can see ground plane. So ground plane doesn't have an upper input, so which means you cannot keep it in the middle or something. It has to be separated. So to separate, then we will have to merge it. And since this is white, you see this is white, right? So it cannot connect here, but you can keep a merge here and connect it. I like it. It's like if you can you can merge and connect it here. It's not a problem, but I like to keep the simulation thing. If I press L, if you press L for lion, it will lay out for you. Okay, so this is what it is. right? So I have a merge. I have a merge with ground plane. So now if I play, you can see some weird thing, which is tada, it is going through it. Okay, because it is not considered as a ground plane yet. Why? Because in the merge node, this merge node is different than what you see the merge node here. Okay, so in here you don't have any options, but here you have some options. And in the first channel, it says that left input affects the right input. So here we kept the ground plane on the right. Okay, so actually you have to keep it on the left, not like this. The the connection has to be left. Okay, so easiest way is to just click here, it will do that. Or what you can do is hold on shift and R, it will reverse it. Okay, so that way you can switch it. So now if you play it, now it started bouncing, isn't it? Yeah. And also, even if it is outside this what you see the grid outside, it's still bouncing. So that's because this ground plane is infinite. You can see an arrow mark here, which means it is infinite. It is actually infinite. Even the particle goes here, it will have the ground, which is cool, which is cooler than we creating a grid. So it's like if we are creating a grid and making it as a collider, then we have to adjust based on where it is falling, isn't it? So ground plane is the best tool. Okay, so you can see grid size, but yeah, don't change anything in here. It's completely fine at the moment. Okay, and what if you have on a collider? Okay, so this is a ground, but you have an on collider. For example, you have a test geometry. Okay, so you have a test geometry and you put it in the in the second. Okay, so if you have some geometry, come on, I will bring it little up because it is under the water. Please save me. Yeah, and you can see there's a green thing, or it's like snapping it because my snap tool is on. Okay, I turned that off. So this is my static object and this is going to be my collider. So it's like what I want is my particles, if it hits there, it has to behave like it's a solid object. All right, so to do that, we have to let this system know that okay, there is another static object and that is a collider. Okay, so we have to bring it. So if you go to the object, then you can see there is something called static object. Even static object is just like ground plane. It doesn't have anything on top and it is white, so it has to connect on the white. So what we can do here is we can bring a merge here. Okay, so I'll press P so that you can see what's happening here. Why not here? It will then complicate the left and right stuff. So now we have something like these are my static things or collider. It's like ground plane is a collider and the test geometry is a collider. So I have a a setup of colliders here, and I have my engine solution on the right. Okay, so we haven't bring the static object yet, so let's bring it. This doesn't have that first geometry, second geometry. Instead we have to search it manually. Okay, so there is no point of connecting it, so I will bring a null to find it easily. Collider or collision. and I copy, Control C, and I paste it. Okay, and it didn't update. So like I said, go to the first frame, so it will update. So you can see my object is there. Okay, and if I play, you can see some of, like, since I know, that's why I say, but you can see some of the particles moving inside. It is uh, it is colliding, but some will be going inside. Okay, so how I know? It's experience, but I can show you. I'll disable the geometry and go to the collision. So there is a physics. It's like you can adjust the bounce and friction and all of that of this object. Similarly, you have the option for ground plane, like when it hits the ground plane, what's the physics has to be. So it's like you are giving the property of the ground. Okay, I mean the ground plane. Like if it touch anything, it will have a bounce of this, it will have a friction of this, it will have the forward movement of this, and temperature and friction dynamic scale. Friction is nothing but sliding. Okay, so I'll show you. I'll take out the wind. Okay, so when I play it, I will also make it straight down. Okay, so it's going down. Okay, so it's easy to show, that's why. Okay, so I'll disable the geometry and I go to the collision, and there is a collision geometry. So if I press, then I can see it here. You see the ears are not sharp. Okay, so this is how the physics of of the test geometry is. It's like this means it doesn't know what is there. So I mean it is empty. So if there is a particle, it can go through this triangle shape, because only the blue will have that collision. That's why it says that collision guide is blue. So you can get the complete shape by going to the uniform division and just increasing it. Okay, so be careful when you go. Yeah, increased it too much. Be careful about that. It's like you go 20, 10 10 10. So I'll go 50 and gradually increases 10 10, like 60 70 80, and when you're happy, then stop it. Okay, don't slide it like what I did now. Okay, so collision guide is very heavy, so I turn that off and I keep it display geometry. So now if I play, I have a really accurate behavior, and you can see it is bouncing back so big. You can see it's bouncing back like this forward, so that you can adjust with the ground plane. You can say that bounce has to be very small. So now you see bounce is not much. Okay, and you see the pig has a bounce. So now I can control the pig's bounce by going to physics and keeping it same as that. So now if I play, you see I have very less bounce, and I have to see, or what you can keep it no bounce, you can keep it no bounce. Let's see what's gonna happen now. Yeah, you see no bounce, everything is going here, and there's a slide. That's why it's going, that's why it's sliding. And if you notice, you can see there is a bounce forward. You can also control the bounce forward also. It's like if you keep it 0, it won't bounce much, so but based on what you are looking for, you can control the friction, and friction is basically sliding. So likewise, you can control ground planes physics and statics physics. I'll make it back. Everything I'm keeping it default. So, and this also you can make it. You can control the points behavior, physics behavior. All right. So this is what as a default setup, this is what you get. And I just changed everything to 1 so that I don't generate too many. Instead of 1, I will keep it, I don't know, 50. So only 50. Oh, again, the other way. Okay, so 50, and that's what that's about bringing the static object so that you get collision and stuff. And the SOP level, you yeah, the bounce is too much, you can control it. Okay, so that's about it. And one more thing that I want to show you is in the point velocity, you have something called curl noise. So you can come here in the curl noise and add curl noise, and now there is an animated curl noise. And if you want to see what's that, of course you have two options. One is going to the node and clicking on the velocity. Okay, so if I click it velocity, then you get that thing. And the other way is going to the visualizing tool, right click, then you can see, we just like the mask tool, now you have an attribute called velocity. And so yeah, this is what the curl noise added. It's like it added to this value. And but you can control it, the scale. And I'll click it here. I'll click it here, and then I'll bring a scatter. Instead of that scatter, I'll bring a new scatter. Okay, so that will be much better. And you can see the points are like this. That's because it's better always to keep the point first and adjust it. Okay, because this is the point velocity, right? If there is nothing, it is looking for this, whatever point is there, they are giving the direction. So it's better always keep it before. The point has to be before this this node. So I created points and then point velocity, right? So we can see whatever, and we can manipulate also, scatter however you want. And yeah, this is how it is looking now. I think it's not that good, but you can adjust, yeah, like that. Anyway, I didn't like it, but anyway, let's see. And I'll uncheck this visualization. And of course it is looking for scatter points, so I'll change the scatter point to points. So point means you get the same thing, right? So now the point has a velocity. Okay, and the point velocity has this curl noise. So now if I play, it will behave, the random velocity from. Okay, so that's it about all of this, basically all of everything. And the next class I'm going to discuss about attributes. So all these attribute, right now I'm using 18.5. So today, 1 week back, 19.5 has launched. So I haven't installed it, so I will install it, and I believe there will be a lot of changes in the attributes and stuff. So if I started recording videos on this attribute, then it will be outdated version. So I'll install 19.5 and I will continue from 19.5. Okay, so attributes are really good to control velocity. So it's like a simple question mark of today's class will be, I mean today's videos will be, it's like what if you want the point from here to go this side and point of this to go this side, point of this to go this side, likewise to go this way. How do you do that? Okay, so this you cannot do it with the use of point velocity, because point velocity we cannot, like, this is all directions, like whatever point you have, that will have this direction. Whatever you're giving this direction, that's going to be to the entire points. But a scenario that you want is like whatever point is facing that part, it has to go, like this point has to go this side, this hand point on this side. So individual point has want individual direction. How do you do that? So those stuff you to do that, to do all of those very customized thing, you need to know attributes. Okay, so in coming class I'm gonna talk about attributes, and after that we'll be doing a rain assignment, I mean rain project and a snow project. All right, thanks for sticking. I know it's long, but I have to cover each and everything like I said, my tutorial is step by step. So if I don't mention these, then you won't be, it's hard to mention the next. All right, thanks for watching.